Nivedita, you can start the recording.
Started.
Okay. We have seen Vidya Samuddesha, Vruddha Sanyoga, Indriya Jayaha, Amatyotpatti, Mantri Purohitotpatti, Upadhabi Shaucha Shauchajnanam, Amatyanam. All these we have seen in part 1. Today we will be seeing Gudha Purusha Pranidhi, then Swavishaye Kritya Kritya Paksha Rakshanam, Paravishaye Kritya Kritya Paksha Upagrahaha, Mantradhikaraha, Duta Pranidhi, Rajaputra Rakshanam, Avaruddhe Vrittihi, Raja Pranidhi, Nishanta Pranidhi, Amatya Rakshitakam. Among these, only one of these is not, I think this is not asked in the exam. All others have been asked either as long answer or short notes question. So we need to remember at least points from this. Gudha Purushotpattihi. It is about the charas, Gudachara. I have used the translation as spy in the notes. It is basically about Gudachara. Gudachara. Gudha Purusha. Okay, there are two types of the spies. They are Samstha and Sancharaha. Samstha are the ones who will be stationed in one place. Their job is this. Their job is they are employed by the king for the job of Gudacharya. And they will be all together, they will be working together. Sancharas are not, this is not their main job. They will be independently employed or they will be dependent on somebody, and they will, as and when they go about with their work, whatever information they gather, they will inform these the members of the samstha. So these are the two major types classification in the Gudha Purushas. And in the first category, there are 5 types: Kapatika, Udasthita, Grihapatika, Grihapatika Vyanjana, Vaidehaka Vyanjana, and Tapasa Vyanjana. Here also we can remember Ka, U, Gru, Vai, Ta. So this is Samstha category. Then in the Sanchara category, there are Satri, Tikshna, Rasada and Bhikshuki that we will see later. Kapatika is a student. Paramarmajnaha Pragalbhaschatraha Kapatikaha. He is a student who is very smart and intelligent, who has the ability to observe others and try to understand their intentions. So these Kapatikas are the main ones. So they will be students and they will also be employed by the king as Chara. Udasthita, Pravrajya, Pratyavasitaha, Prajna Shauchayukta Udasthitaha. He is a person who had gone to a guru to become sannyasin. He has taken the diksha also, but he could not get adjusted to that life there, and he comes back. He returns from there, but he has all the good qualities. Just that he feels that he is not fit for that life. So he comes back and he is employed by the king as Chara, and he is given money to have an ashram on his own. He can have students and he will be pretending that he's a sannyasi or he's a guru, but he and his students will be doing the job of spying. Grihapatika Vyanjana, he is the one who was an agriculturist, but he lost his job. So he will be given property, some farm by the king, and he will continue to work as pretend as Karshaka, but he has to work for the kingdom as Chara. Then Vaidehaka Vyanjana, similar to Grihapatika, but he is involved in trade and business. So he has to, he is also given a land to do his business or Karshaka, but he has to work as a Chara. Tapasa Vyanjana, Mundo Jatilo Va Vrittikamaha Tapasa Vyanjanaha. people living as bhikshus, but they want aid from the king. They are not able to. Their desires are beyond their needs. So they want the king to support them. So when they approach the king, the king will assign the duty of spying also. So externally, they have to maintain the lifestyles of sannyasi, but inside they can live luxuriously. That is the deal. And so king will financially support them to do this job. So all these people will gather the information, public information about the king and his ruling, about the country, and any suspicious activity going on. They will inform the king and amatyas through their network. And if the people are really genuinely unhappy because of some recent change in the rule or something, the king will take action and try to make them happy, either by giving monetary benefits or doing appropriate changes in the system. But if some citizens are rebellious without justification, they will be punished. So this is the next chapter is Gudha Purusha Pranidhi. Again, short notes. The first chapter they talk about. He has introduced samskas. Here he will continue and explain about the duties of sancharas. Sancharas, there are 4 types: Satri, Tikshna, there is my spelling mistake here, Rasada, Bhikshuki. So, the Satri is, these are dependents. They don't work under anybody, but somebody else is supporting them, like children or aged people, orphans, or those who are in difficulty or sad. So, if they know, they should have some talent where they will be meeting people like Shakuna or Jyotish Shastra, or doing some magic, palm reading, which attracts general public. So they will do these activities and observe the behavior of the people, or get the sense of what is happening in the country. These are capable of doing anything, even fight with a tiger for the sake of money. These are a little rough and tough people. So they may be working under somebody, but they will be independent. This chara job is not their main job. This is just a part-time job, or they may not even know that they are giving information. Because samsthas can approach these sancharas and gather information from there without even informing that they are working as charas. That also is possible. Then rasada are also cruel people, rough-natured and cruel people. Bhikshuki, these are female spies who are independent, like she may be poor or widow, or she may be having access to the queen's quarters or Amatya's household as servant. So these are bhikshukis. Depending on the ability of the sancharas, the king appoints them with any of the 18 senior officials. So sancharas are directly reporting to the king. So they will act as a charas to. Their job will be to spy on the officials as well, because Raja has to know how his people, how his amatyas, mantris, senapati are doing their jobs, whether they are loyal to the kingdom or not. He has to know. So through these sancharas, he will gather this information. The 18 officials are, just read it once. Whatever we remember, we can write. Mantri, Purohita, Senapati, Yuvaraja, Dawarika, Antarvamshika, Prashastru, Samahatru, Sannidhatru, Pradeshtru, Nayaka, Paura Vyavaharika, Karmantika, Mantri again, Parishad Adhyakshaha, Dandapala, Durgantapala, Atavika. So I have not given the translation of these because it's generally 18 types of officials. If you mention, it's enough. Tikshnas will be appointed to hold Chatra, Chamara, or any other duties to the above officials. Tikshnas are the ones who will be ready to kill the tiger also. So such like they will be strong with valor, and for the sake of money they will be doing anything. So they will be employed to serve these officials. So they gather the information and pass them to the samstha. The people employed in the household like cook, barber, musicians, they all these bhikshukis, I think, they update the information. Again, they will update to the samstha. The heads of the samstha arrange their own personnel to inform the king about their observation. So, no, if there are two samsthas, two spy organizations, they will not be in contact. The spy from this group will not identify the spy from the other group. It has to happen in a very secret manner. Then the sancharas who worked as informants should not know who are there in the samstha. So the sanchara will just tell one point in the samstha. He will not know the other members of the samstha. So otherwise, if they know too much inside information in the samstha, they may distort the information. They may become a threat to the king. That is the reason for them to maintain the secrecy. Then he explains what to do if a spy is detected. For example, a person is spying a mantri, and mantri comes to know that okay, this person, this particular servant is doing a job of a spy. So, and if the mantri is not happy about it, and if the mantri is up to some mischief, the spy will come to know, and in some discreet way he has to come out of that place and don't get caught. That is what is explained. Then the king should verify the validity of information by checking three sources of information. Like if some person from samstha comes and says something, he should not act hastily. He has to wait and gather information from the other sources also. And if it is consistently matching, then he has to take action. Then Ubhaya Vetana, this is important. Ubhaya Vetana are the Guda Purushas who are employed by the two countries. For example, country A, I am from the country A, and I'll go to country B, that is the neighboring country or enemy country, and I'll take up a job there. So I'll be employed there as well as country A. Country A, I'm doing the job of Guda Purusha, but in country B, I'll be doing some job. Nobody will know that they are Ubhaya Vetanas. But there is a chance, that possibility that they turn against the king. Living and working in country B, they may go against the king of country A. So to avoid that, this king has to keep his wife and family members in house arrest. They should be under the control of the king, so that for the family's sake he has to be loyal to the king A. So Grihita Putra Dharanscha Kuryad Ubhaya Vetana. This is an important question. It has come in the exam. So thus the Charas should keep an eye on the friends, foes, neutral parties as well as the 18 types of officials. Okay. Then he goes on to explain what are the who is appointed where. In the residences, dwarfs, artisans, deaf people, and florists, etc. In the fort, traders. In the forts, traders should be appointed. Outside the fort, tapasas and sannyasi, because they wander. So outside the fort, they should wander and gather information. In the village, they have to be agriculturists. That is a normal profession in the villages. Udasthitas. Countryside, Gopalakas. Forest, Vanacharas and forest guards. Then an appropriate system should be followed to relay the information quickly to the king. So they have to pass the information. They should be able to identify the spies from the other countries also and avoid them. The officials who are loyal and will not yield to external pressure are akrityas. Okay, the continuation will be there in the next chapter. It says kritya kritya, kritya kritya paksha rakshanam. So those who will not yield to the external pressure are akrityas. Those who will yield is kritya. After enacting a rajadroha, they should be sent out. So actually, the king has to pretend this game. Okay. Once they are sent out, they should be appointed as a spy there. So to the world, this person appears to be against the king. Like king has abandoned him. He has fired him from the job. But in reality, he is a good Purusha. Nobody knows about it. So these only the people with the integrity and such level of loyalty to the king will be able to do this job. So they are appointed at the borders as well. So and they will be the contact points for the Ubhaya Vetanas. So now next is Swavishaye Kritya Kritya Paksha Rakshanam. So they say they define Krityas Kruddha Lubdha Bhita Maninaha tu Paresham Krityaha. Those who are angry with the king, Kruddha. Those who are ambitious for power or money, Lubdha. Those who are afraid of the severe punishment are Bhita. And those who felt insulted by the king, Maninaha. These are the Krityas. These are the weak links for the king, because enemies can befriend them and make them turn against the king. Okay, these are the Krityas. They have some negative opinion about the king and are easy targets for the enemies. So this chapter talks about how to identify the Krityas in the country with the help of the Satris. Satri is the Sanchara category of the Guda Purusha. Two groups of Satris should get into an argument about the king or governance in a crowded place. So how they have to identify the Krityas is like in a crowded marketplace. For example, marketplace, they have to pretend that they are doing an argument about the king's governance. So one group should support the king and another should criticize the king. Then people take sides. Generally, people will join the argument. So these people have to assess their level of loyalty to the king or why they are against it. What are their opinions? That has to be relayed to the king. So if there is some serious suspicion on anybody, the king will take appropriate action. If king thinks that a particular person is a Kritya, then he will do the needful. These spies will observe, okay. The happy and content citizens should be respected and they have to be appreciated. The disgruntled people should be given some jobs like collection of tax. A tax collector's job is difficult because people will not be very friendly with them. So that is an indirect punishment for them. So they will interact with the common people and face their anger. So Krityas are vulnerable, as I told earlier. So their family also has to be kept under observation or house arrest. Next is so far we have seen about Kritya and Akrityas in this country, in the king's country. Now king is interested to know about the enemy's country. So he has to find the Kritya and Akrityas of other country, and if there is any weakness there, he has to try to take advantage of that and bring those Krityas to his side, and that will help him. Like it's a soft power. Anytime he wants to attack the king, or during in need, those people will support him. Paravishaye kritya kritya paksha upagraha. So again there are 4 classifications: Kruddha Varga, Bhita Varga, Lubdha Varga, and Mani Varga. And he talks about Upajapa Vrittihi. Okay, this also Upajapa Vrittihi also has come for short notes. How to do the Vashikarana of the other countries' Krityas. Okay, so this is explained here. For Kruddha Varga, Upajapa is like doing Vashikarana. For Kruddha Varga, if an angry citizen of the enemy side has faith in saints, a spy dressed up like a saint should approach him and advise him. Like if he is a God-fearing person, has believing in words of the saints, he has to say, this king is adharmi, so it is not advisable that you follow him. And he has to praise the king of this side, so that the Kruddha Varga, the person from the Kruddha Varga should feel as if, okay, I should have been in that kingdom or under that ruler, so that I would have followed dharma. The situation of the country in his control will be like of a palace destroyed by a tusker. This king is adharmi. So these examples we can remember. He compares the enemy king to a tusker, elephant. Bhita Varga, fear about the king should be instilled in these people. Like people who have the unhealthy fear about the king. Like they have the fear that this king may trouble me anytime, or maybe he has sent a spy who is watching me all the time. So if he has that kind of uneasiness, that is a weakness, and the enemy king can make use of it. This king may find fault in you anytime, therefore it is better you go to another place. Why are you staying in this country? Come, go to the neighbor's country, that is safer for you. So it is like a example of a poisonous snake is given. The poisonous snake can come anytime and bite you. So it is given to the king. King is compared to the tusker in the Kruddha Varga example, and poisonous snake here. And Lubdha Varga, they have to be told that the king is partial, so you are not given the deserved respect or position, whatever is has to be given to you. The king is not treating you properly. So why don't you go to the other kingdom, so that your talent will be rewarded. So here the example given is about a dog owner's cow. So the cow will give milk only to the dog, not to the Brahmana. That means even if Brahmana is good with noble qualities, that cow doesn't know its owner is the owner of the dog, so it will give milk only to the dog. So similarly, this king does not know your qualities. It is just, this king is just rewarding some people whom he likes. So that is what has to be told to Lubdha Varga. Then is Mani Varga. Mani, Abhimani. So the king is a Nicha. So he is not suitable to be your king. You are so noble. So this king is no good. So the person should feel that, okay, his abhimanam should be awakened so that he has to be loyal to the other king. So here, example of a water well specifically meant for chandalas. So others are not allowed to use it. So this example is given there. After this, he.
Divya, can I interrupt? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Why are they saying all this? Like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to like win them over to the other side, or what is it? I didn't understand that.
Yeah. This first chapter was about first earlier chapter that was Buddha Purushotpattihi. No, Swavishaye Kritya Paksha Rakshanam. That is about the people of our country.
Yeah.
Now, Paravishaye. I can hear my own voice. Can you mute? Just now what I told is about the other country. So this king wants to bring some people from that side to his side. Bring means he does not want to physically bring them, but he has to gain some foothold there. Some soft power has to be established there. So the more bheda, he is doing the bheda in the enemy's country. So upajapa vrittihi is what is asked. Okay, upajapa vrittihi is vashikarana vidhana of the people from enemy's country. Is it clear? Harini? Harini? Nivedita, can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can I move on?
Yeah.
Oh, power cut for Harini.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do we do? We'll continue?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please continue.
Okay. Next is Mantradhikara. It is the topic of council. Mantradhikara is about the meeting, secret meeting that happens. So, Mantra Purva Sarvarambhaha is a question that was asked for short notes. For every activity, before starting any major, taking any major decision or doing any action, Mantra Purvaha. He has to do the mantra lochana with his ministers and amatyas. And because it is about the important discussions and decisions, utmost secrecy has to be maintained. So he tells about the points. The place chosen should be quiet and deserted. What is spoken inside should not be heard outside. Even the birds, parrots, dogs should not have any access there, or even they should not hear what is spoken there, because even parrots and dogs and or other animals were used as spies. Then one who is not authorized should not be seen in that area. One who does mantra bheda should be punished. So here also, like only those appointed attendants should be around. Then the secret could be revealed by Duta, Amatya, Swami by their Ingita or Akriti. Like Mantra Bheda. When does Mantra Bheda happen? Mantra Bheda means revelation of, unauthorized revelation of the secret. So how they will find out it has happened? Ingitam anyatha vrittihi, change of opinion. For example, if a person has been having an opinion about a particular topic till now. But after this mantralochana, after a day, he changes his opinion. So a close observation will reveal that he has access to this discussion. So that has changed his opinion about the subject. That means somebody has revealed the secret to him, or he has come to know. So mantra bheda has happened. Then akriti grahanam akaraha, like his expression or appearance. Usually he greets the amatya, mantri or somebody in a particular way, but after this mantralochana session, sudden change in the behavior of a person. That indicates that maybe if it is related, anyway related to him, it is a suchana that the secret has been revealed to him. Okay, a person involved with mantralochana knows about the decision being taken or about some important work that is going to happen. So from that period, from the mantralochana period till the commencement of the work, one has to be very, very careful not to reveal the secret. He has to maintain the secret. And he should not disclose it during the sleep or when he is drunk. That means there used to be a practice of engaging a person for party, like drinking, and trying to extract information. Or when he is sleeping, just listen to him, because in his dreams, in his sleep, he may blabber something and some secret information may come out. So he has to be very careful. Then how to protect the mantra? There are about the mantra lochana, there are different opinions by different acharyas. So this is also is important for long answer question. We have to write this. Nivedita, this is what I was telling Bhavi Papi this Bharadwaja says king should arrive at some conclusion alone. But Vishalaksha says it is not right for the king to decide alone, because he has to be transparent. He has to follow Pratyaksha, Paroksha and Anumeya rules. So king has to take opinion of others. And Parashara students, Shishyas, they say that if he takes opinion of everybody, if he just the collection of opinions, then all of them will know that is not right. So what the king should do is he has to put forth a situation, very similar situation, and generally he has to ask the opinion. So he will get to know what the amatya is thinking about it. From that he has to take his own decision. So the secret also is not revealed, but he has got the views. But Vishwanath says, in that case, ministers will not be interested, because it is just theoretical, just a case. It is not the actual situation. So he says we will not get a proper suggestion by the ministers for these non-existing issues. So what he says is, don't invite everybody, but just ask the opinion of only those amatyas who are connected to this job, this decision making, this action. So then the secret will not be revealed to everybody, but only to those who are involved in the process. So Kautilya does not agree with this. He says a king should consult 3-4 other ministers also. So if he depends on only one mantri, the mantra may take that mantri will take the upper hand in governance. So, but if it is too many also, it will be very difficult for the king to arrive at a conclusion. Now, how to do the mantralochana? How many people should be there, and all those information he gives. Purusha, Dravya Sampat, Desha Kala Vibhaga, Vinipata Pratikaraha, Karya Siddhihi, iti Panchango Mantraha. Preparation, assembly of required men, collection of items needed, place and time, and Vinipata Pratikaraha, plan to avoid any obstacles, and Karya Siddhi. There should be some outcome after the meeting. It cannot be open-ended. There should be some Karya Siddhi, some concrete decision has to be taken after the Mantralochana. So, and about Mantri Parishad, how many should be there is debated. Manavaha says 12 Amatyas, Brihaspati students say 16, Aushana Shukras Shishya say 20, but Kautilya says Yatha Samatyam, like how many you need, require, you invite that many Amatyas and Mantris. Then the Mantri Parishad should think from the point of view of the king and the other party as well. So what are the consequences? So they should be able to guide the king. Then they have to do Akrita Arambham, Arabdha Anushtanam, Anushtita Vishesham, Niyoga Sampadam cha Karmanam Kuryuhu. That means they have to oversee the initiation of the work. What is not done, they have to initiate, and what is initiated, they have to do Anushtana. They have to do, and after that, during the work, Niyoga Sampadam, they have to enforce obedience. That means it has to be done, the process, it has to be done properly. Supervision of work is to be done by observation. If the party is far away, the updates have to be gathered through mail. Mail means Dutas have to carry the information. Mantri Parishad is like eyes to the king. Comparison of Indra's council consisting of 1,000 rishis. Sahasraksham Ahuhu. That means they compare this Sahasraksha because Indra had 1,000 rishis who were advising him. And during emergency situation, after consulting ministers and Mantri Parishad, the majority opinion has to be implemented by the king. The secrecy of the meeting has to be maintained. Effort should be made to know the proceedings of the enemy's meeting. See, whatever this king does, the other king also, the enemy king also is doing. So there should be an effort to get the information of the other parties' meetings, and for this, for our country, we have to make sure that other party does not steal the information. So that is the role of the king. Grihet Kurma Ivangani Guhet Kurma Ivangani Yat Syad Vivritam Atmanaha. The ministers who are competent should be part of the council. This Kurma example is to keep this secret. How the Kurma puts all its limbs inside and keeps quietly. The same way, when there is an effort to collect information, secret information, one has to keep all the information inside like Kurma. Okay. Next is Duta Pranidhi.
Right. Should we continue the next topic or?
Wait for her.
Yeah. We will start one more session.
I think she's here. No? Wait. Okay.
Harini, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, proceed.
Is she there?
Yes, yes.
I can't hear her.
Yeah, she's there. Proceed.
Okay. Okay. Next is Duta Pranidhi. See, there is a difference between Gudha Purusha Pranidhi and Duta Pranidhi. Gudha Purushas are they are Gudacharas, spies in disguise. But Duta is a person, he is an envoy. He is appointed by the king as a messenger. So that is the difference between Duta and Gudachara. Udvritta mantro Duta Pranidhi. Okay, there. So this is about. This is also a quote that we have to remember. Categories of Duta, depending on his ability. Nishritartaha, Parimitartaha, Shasanaharaha are the three kinds. Okay. What are the how to test them? and where to place them, what duties to give to the employed Duta. It is explained here. Um, the test is similar to that of Amatya. So he should have all the qualities of Amatyas. One with all the 20 expected qualities of Amatya is Nisprishtarthaha. He is able to take up responsibilities independently. So he will be trusted to the king. Parimita Arthaha, having 3/4. The text says less by quarter, that is 3/4. Majority of the qualities he has. So he will be given a specific task. Shasanaharaha, he is having half the qualities. So he will be appointed as a messenger carrying a written message. That means he may not be having the ability to speak clearly what is explained to him. So such a person will be given a written scroll. So his job is to go from King A to King B and pass the scroll and get another scroll from him and bring it back. So he is Shasanahara. Responsibility. Hello.
Yeah, Harini has joined. Harini, go on mute.
Okay. Responsibilities of the envoy, proper preparation of the vehicles, people, and clear idea of the mission. They should have all this before starting. And during the travel, he has to make friends with the officials. On the way, from country A, he is going to country B. On the way, he has to uh, observe the place, route, and he has to see for shortcuts. In case of emergency, he has to come, take a shortcut, and come back. So, and observe the placement of military stations. The current country, his own country's military stations, in case he has to be protected, or the other countries, enemy countries' military stations, so that he has to avoid them when he should know all those. And army stronghold, he has to observe these and come and tell the king also about it. Such information will be useful for the Gudacharas also. Identify the shortcut and escape routes and assess the enemy's fort, size of the country, strengths and weaknesses on the way. Enter the country with the consent. Because he is a Duta, he is not a Gudachara, he has to enter with the consent, with the permission. Even when there is danger to his life, he has to relay the message as it is. Because his duty is to, he is a Duta, his duty is to relay the message. After relaying the message to the king, he has to observe the expressions of the king to understand if the reaction is favorable or not. So he has to give the message and closely watch and assess what the king's reaction would be. He has to be able to assess that. If he is asked to remain in the country, he should not be flattered by the hospitality extended. He has to abstain from himself from women and liquor. This is the situation where the king takes time to answer. He says, I have to have mantradhikara, I have to consult my ministers and then only I can give the reply. So till then, please remain in the country. You are our guest, we will treat you well. So in that case, the Duta should not be engaged in fun activities there, because that is a weak point. If he is weak, the Vaishyas might gather more information about his country or the actual purpose of visit, or when he is drunk, people may come to know the secrets of the country. So that is the rule given to him. He has to obtain information about the enemy country through the spies or Ubhayavetana. So he should have the knowledge about the Ubhayavetanas in this country. So he has to gather, when anyway he has gone to that country, he has to try to contact them and find out what is happening in a very discreet manner. If this is not possible, he has to gather information by observing the words of the beggar or the common people. He has to just roam around in the marketplace and gather information. He should try to understand the situation at temples from paintings and secret writings, sanjnas. So from there also he can get to know a general feel about the country and country's position about the his own country. If he is asked to remain the enemy in the enemy's country even after his job is done, he has to understand the purpose of the same. Kautilya lists many possibilities regarding this. If the Duta is asked to remain, why would he make him stay there in the country? Is there a specific purpose? Is he taking time to take decision, or is the enemy king planning something against our king? So is he buying time to build his army or safeguard the fort so that the information relay is delayed? If the Duta is still in his country, till that time, before the Duta reaches there, he can take some actions. So this Duta has to assess all that, or is it because that he wants to build some friendship? Does he want to wants to build any relationship? Like, does he want to give his daughter to our king so that he will lend extend a hand of friendship? So all these he has to assess. When not immediately sent, the envoy can choose to stay for as long as he wishes till he is sent, or he has the power to decide whether he has to come back. He can request the enemy king to speed up the process and arrange his return. So he can say, please give the reply back so that I go back soon. Or if the consequence of the message is dangerous, if he sees by his observation that king is angry and still he is delaying, then he can just come back without informing the king also. So these are the guidelines given by Kautilya. And what are the duties of the envoy? Carrying of messages, Sandhi Palana, build friendship, Mitra Bheda. Mitra Bheda means he like Guda Purushas, Paravishe Kritya Pakshopagraha he has done. No? Similar way, Duta also is authorized to do that. Fetching secret force, stealth of relatives. So he can steal some.
Sorry, say that again. That Mitra Bheda, what is he authorized to do?
Mitra Bheda is like if the enemy king has a friend, Mitra Bheda usually is breaking the friendship. So when he is there, if he happens to meet a loyal mantri, if he wants that mantri to side his king, he is doing Mitra Bheda. If you know the story of Kautilya, Chandragupta and Nanda, Nanda's mantri is Amatya Rakshasa. Kautilya does Mitra Bheda and creates enmity between Nanda and Amatya Rakshasa. That is his sole purpose there. And Amatya Rakshasa finally comes to Chandragupta's side. So that is Mitra Bheda.
Okay.
Attracting the closest one of the king to this our side. That will make the enemy king weak. So that is Mitra Bheda. Kannadadalli we say French snehadalli huli hindodu anta. If the two parties are very close, friendly, you put puli there, so that the friendship will be curdled and they will be apart, and make use of that situation.
Okay.
That is Mitra Bheda. And fetching secret force, again secret, when he is in the enemy's country, do as much background work as possible. That will help his king. Stealth of relatives or precious stones. So he can bring some precious stones or take some people, relatives as kidnap. Information gathering, winning over the officials of the enemy. Same Mitra Bheda, similar one. The Mitra Bheda can be between the two kings also. Like if there are two neighboring kings who are friends, this Duta can act in such a way that those two are not friends. So one of them will come to this side, our side. That also is possible. The king has to ensure the envoy, ensure that the envoy performs the duties and make sure the information, secrets of his country is not accessible to the envoy of the enemy. See, he has to make sure that his envoy works properly. At the same time, when the other side's Duta comes to his side, he does not have access to his weaknesses. So it has to be maintained. We have to try to find out other secrets, but we have to protect our secrets. That is explained. Then next chapter is Rajaputra Rakshanam. Here, Rajaputra's general understanding is Rajaputras will be the Yuvaraja, and they have to have all the facilities, they have to be royally treated. All this is the general opinion. But according to Kautilya, it is not the same. Rajaputras are, yes, they are going to be the next kings, but only one will be the king. If the king has many sons, not all will become the Yuvarajas, only one will become. Then what about the rest? But the rest also may want to have some power. So in that case, they will go against the king. So all these are explained here. After the king's personal safety from the queen and sons is ensured, he is able to maintain the safety of the kingdom. Rakshito Raja Rajyam Rakshatya Sannebhyaha Parebhyascha Purvam Darebhyaha Putrebhyascha. So how he will be protected from the queens, that will come in the next Nishanta Pranidhi. This chapter deals with the safety of the king from the princes. Like princes themselves are threat in a way to the king. That is what is explained. Though the prince is going to be the next king, it is observed that he has to be dealt with cautiously. Some princes may be a threat to the king. Karkata sadharmano hi Janaka Bhaksha Rajaputraha. Janaka Bhaksha Rajaputraha. He says some are of the opinion that like the crabs who will devour the parents. Similarly, some Rajaputras will be Bhakshakaha, Janaka Bhaksha. So that is a bit alarming, but different acharyas say their own opinion. Bharadwaja says such princes should be punished in childhood. A baby, if he has, if the king suspects that the baby may go against him, the baby should be, they don't say killed, they should be destroyed before the child develops affection with the daddy, with the father. But Vishalaksha says it is adharma to kill an innocent baby. So till his opinion is formed, he has to be protected somewhere. He has to grow up under observation. So he has to be in a safe place somewhere. He has to be observed. Parashara says it is compared to the fear of a snake. The son may think that the king is afraid of his strength and abilities. The son grows up and he may think that, okay, my father is afraid of me. Oh, I must be so good. So like I must be a threat to the king. So I should act like that. So he might start controlling the father. He may take leadership and he may, like it is giving undue power to the child unnecessarily. So therefore the prince must be kept under the custody of guards, antapalas, in a fort. Pishuna says the above is compared to the fear of the sheep. Say that there is what they say is, if the sheep hits you from the close quarters, it will not hurt. But if the goat they come, from far, they will run and come and hit. That will be more painful. So if the child is kept at a distance with Antapala and they decide to rebel and attack, that will be more dangerous. That is what Pishuna Narada says. The prince may develop friendship with the Antapala and conspire against the king. Therefore, he has to be kept in the custody of a Samanta. Samanta is a neighboring king who reports to the king. Samanta will be paying taxes. He will collect taxes and he will pay. Like he is an assistant king kind of a thing. So let the prince be in the custody of a Samanta. Let Samanta train him, give him education and bring him up. When he grows up, let us see how things go. But Kaunapadanta says it is like Vatsasthanam etad. That means it's like keeping the calf with you. So if the calf is with you, mother wants the calf, so you can manipulate the mother. Samanta may start taking advantage of the situation, and he may start keep demanding the king for some facilities or reduction of tax, whatever, because the king, the prince is with him. So the child has to be with his maternal relatives. If it's a relative, this fear is not there, is what Kaunapadanta says. But Vatavyadi does not think so. He says, if he is with the mother's side, they will use him as Dvajasthana. They also may start taking advantage, and they may start telling that, the king has given his son to us. We are taking care of our grandchild. So this also is not good. Vatavyadi says, don't worry about all this. Let him enjoy like a prince. Let him have good time. If he is immersed in worldly pleasures, he may not bother about the throne. So this is what Vatavyadi is saying. He will not be thinking about uprooting the king and becoming the next king. So he let him enjoy. Kautilya does not agree with this opinion. He says, a country with a weak prince will perish like a wood attacked by termites. Please note, in all the cases, there are examples. So there is comparison. For each, I have written the comparison. So please make note of it. So like a wood attacked by the termites. That means a weak prince will be very attractive to the enemy. So the prince will be taken advantage by the enemy for their purposes. So the prince should be brought up with good education. He should be given good education, whether he is the only son or even if there are many children, a prince should be given good education and he has to be taught to be loyal to his father. When the queen conceives, appropriate offerings and havanas are to be performed. And after the birth of the child, Putra Sankara followed by good education should be given. All the rituals have to be done and good education has to be given. This is Kautilya's opinion. Ambiya says, Ambi's followers, they say, let two groups of Sattris befriend the prince and let one group say that let us go for hunting, gambling, let us involve in all these activities. But let the others say, no, we should not go, and let's see which side prince is attracted to. So depending on that, king can decide. But and observe the prince's reaction. But Kautilya refuses for this opinion. He says it is not good to adulter a young mind. He says, gives the example of a pot. If you throw something, it will stick. So teaching the vices to an innocent person is mahadosha. So only appropriate dharma has to be taught to the young mind. Adharma and anartha should never be taught. Tasma dharmyam arthyam cha asya upadishenadharmyam anarthyam cha. This also is an important point that Kautilya says. So, with the help of the Satris, any vices that the prince has should be removed. Like they go on, I did not write here. If he is attracted to women, the Satris should arrange and make him go to a place where he feels disgusted about his own interests. So they should do such things and bring him out of his vices. Even after dharmika upbringing, if the prince develops displeasure with the king or has negative qualities, Kautilya suggests the following actions. After the efforts by the Satris, if the prince has not changed his ways, he should be imprisoned, even though he is the only and favorite son. That means even if he is the only son, but with negative qualities, he should not be entertained. There is a Subhashita, no? Kulasyarte putram tyajet. So, similarly, if there are many other princes, the one with the wrong ways has to be shifted to a different location. The prince with noble qualities should be appointed as, for example, the eldest prince is a noble person. He will be the Yuvaraja. What about the other, his brothers, who are equally good? So they should be appointed as Senapati or Yuvarajas. Senapati, others, the eldest one will be the Yuvaraja. And Kautilya classifies these princes into three types: Buddhiman, Aharya Buddhi, and Durbuddhi. Iti Putra Visheshaha. This was asked in the exam. Buddhiman, one who learns and implements the Dharma Artha theories learned from his Guru. He has learned it properly and he has implemented in his life. Aharya Buddhi is he has learned from the Guru, but he does not practice it. He knows, but he doesn't practice. Durbuddhi is the one who has Durbuddhi. He hates Dharma Artha. He is into only the worldly things. If the king has only one son who is of the third category, effort should be made to get Putra Santana by him. That means after the king, his Durbuddhi's son will be trained and he will be the Yuvaraja, so that they will skip the Durbuddhi son. Or if it's not possible, the daughter's son can be made the next heir apparent. If the king is old or disabled to have to bear children, he should get a santana in his kshetra, either from a maternal relative or from a person of the same kula, or from a noble king of neighboring country. This kshetra means through his queen. This was in practice before niyoga was in practice, like how in Mahabharata story it comes. So similar way, a disobedient son should never be installed on the throne. The king has to be polite, favorable to the sons. Hita, he has to behave in a favorable way. Otherwise, the princes will. There are chances that they will go against the king. If there are many sons, the elder should be the heir apparent. Next is this is about
Putrasthana is getting a grandson, is it? First point.
Putra Santana.
Oh.
Putra Santana.
Putrasya Santana. Okay.
Putrasya Santanam. If the only child of the king is bad, he should his son.
Okay, got it. Now, Harini has dropped out again. Is this the next topic or whatever is coming now, or is it a continuation? We can finish off the prince part and probably stop.
Okay. Okay, I'm not checking the messages. I don't know what she said. No power, no audio.
Huh?
She can't listen also.
Yeah. So we will conclude with this prince topic.
Okay. Now avaruddha vrittam and avaruddhe vrittihi. I think we'll continue, Nivedita. Then I will talk to her and we can do another session. It's okay. We will continue.
Fine.
This is about the prince who is kept under restraint by the king. A prince may be sent away by the king for several reasons. This chapter talks about that. There are two, actually these are two prakaranas, avaruddha vrittam and avaruddhe vrittihi. Both are combined to as one adhyaya. So both the topics are covered in this. One is how the king should behave, what are the actions to be taken by the king about the rebellious prince. And another topic is how the prince should behave. Like sometimes the prince may face injustice by the father. So what should such a prince do? He also will be avaruddha to his father. So both are explained by Kautilya here. The prince having noble qualities should be appointed as Senapati or heir apparent, Yuvaraja, but the other princes will be Vijigishus. Others may want power, so they will become Vijigishus. Such a prince who has been sent or restrained has to faithfully follow the king and his orders. Vijigishu means he still has hopes. The one who has been sent out wants to be somebody in his father's kingdom. So one option is he can work faithfully to the king. He can prove himself. So he should ask the king to appoint a Vikshaka Purusha. Appoint somebody to observe my behavior. So observe me, and if you are satisfied, employ me and give me some responsibilities. So the prince will engage in noble activities, and he should give the profit gain, whatever profit when he is working. It has to be given to the king. That means he is engaged in artha vyavahara also. So the king should feel that, okay, this son is responsible, he is beneficial to the kingdom. Let me give him some duty, some important duty. So this is possible. So he need not be sent away. He need not be an avaruddha then. Even after this, if the king does not show appreciation, or if he is partial to the other princes or the sons of other queens, like the king may have some favoritism, like some partiality among the queens. And if this good son is from a queen whom king is not not so close to her, that means it's unfair for that particular prince. So then he should go to the forest, ask for permission, and he should go to the forest. If there is any threat to his life or safety, he has to approach a good-natured Samanta and take shelter. The situation may come in such a way that the king wants to finish him off. If he comes, or he may send spies, Gudacharas, to observe his movements. If he feels all these are happening, then he should go to a neighboring Samanta or another king and ask for shelter. There he will develop connections with the able men, acquire wealth and relationships. Maybe he may be given offer to marry a Samanta's daughter, so that he will gain control there. So maybe he will be given chance to rule that country. All these are possibilities. And build an army with the help of tribal people. When he is in the forest, he can gain friendship with the tribal people, and he can train them and build an army. Try to win over the citizens of his father's state. Again, he can have sympathizers, so that he can rely on them to support him. If he is alone without any of these supports, he should acquire wealth by trading of precious stones and jewels, or work in mines. He has to gather, he has to have wealth. So he has to earn wealth by all this. Once he has gained sufficient wealth, army, and support from various parties, he should approach the king and declare that he is the heir apparent. He should declare that I have come and please make me your Raja. it is not appropriate that the king alone enjoys the luxuries. It's not proper that you try to be the king all the time. You have to share your duty, responsibilities with us also. So let me be the Yuvaraja, appoint me as Yuvaraja. Else he should threaten the king that he will employ those who come to his side with double the salary. Your Amatyas or Mantris are welcome to come to me. I will pay double the salary. So this is what he has to do. Then what should this is the Avaruddha's rebellious princess options. Now what should the king do? There are three types of unfavorable princes. According to their category, the king has to take appropriate actions. Avaruddha, Tyakta, Atyakta. Avaruddha is the prince who is a heir apparent but was sent by the king. He has to be called back with the help of spies or his mother. So he has to, if he has become, like he is the Yuvaraja but he has gone out, either sent by the king or he has gone out on his own, but he is a danger to the kingdom. Tyakta, the prince with the wicked qualities, that is why he has been sent by the king. So he is Tyakta, but he is proving to be danger to the country. He is a threat now. He may be killed by the spies with the help of weapons or poison. Atyakta, he is a prince who has left on his own, fearing punishment or threat to his life. King has not abandoned him, but he himself has felt that he is not safe in this country and he has gone. So he will be brought back with the help of women or spies. He should be assured of the throne, but after the death of the king. Wait, you will be given a chance. You be with us. You will be given the duty after the king dies. If there are other able princes, like if he is not alone, he should be punished. So, can we continue? Nivedita?
Yeah, how much is there? If
Next
good portion is there, we can do it in the next session.
Okay, Raja Pranidhi, Nishanta Pranidhi, and 3 chapters are there. Atma Rakshitam. If you want to wait, we will wait.
Yeah, we can wait then.
Okay. Now we'll close now.
Yeah. And the general question, so throughout the text, is there like different people giving their suggestions? Is it like that, or in 3 places we have seen, no, mainly?
I have made a list like that. Okay. See, can you see?
Yeah.
One place is Amatyotpatti, another is Mantradhikara, one more is in the Rajaputra Rakshakam.
Okay. All these 3 have already covered. Okay. And usually they speak in this order only, is it? The first person to speak is always Bharadwaja.
Yeah. I have made note of that. Yes. Usually it is in this order. So that formula will is enough for all the. But in some, for example, in Rajaputra Rakshanam, not all say their opinion. So Vatavyadi says only at 2 places. Kaunapadanta says only in 2 places. So I have made this table also. It should help.
Okay, fine. Good, great.
Yeah. So we'll stop now. I'll talk to Harini.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Bye.
Divya. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can start. So, रक्षितो राजा राज्यं रक्षत्यासन्नेभ्यः परेभ्यश्च पूर्वं दारेभ्यः पुत्रेभ्यश्च. Here Kautilya says the king has to be protected from the queen and the Rajaputras. That means he has danger for his safety from close quarters also. So that is what is important in this. About the queens, Rani, we will see in the Nishanta Pranidhi. About Rajaputras, we will see here. Generally, we think that Rajaputras have to be protected at all the times. Yes, that is true. According to Arthashashtra, the heir apparent has to be protected at all the times. But there are dangers, possible dangers coming from other princes who are Vijigishu, who want to win the others. So then. They say Karkataka Sadharmano hi Janakabhaksha Rajaputraha. They compare the princes to crabs. Janakabhaksha Rajaputra. Some Rajaputras may eat up the king, Janaka also. That is that fear Raja should have. So Bharadwaja says, again the same discussion happens. Bharadwaja, Vishalaksha, Parashara, Pishuna, so Bhavi, Papi, I've mentioned. So Bharadwaja says, a prince has to be punished, not punished, actually killed. That's what he says in childhood before he develops bonding with his father. The prince means not the first one, not the eldest one, the others. Okay, but Vishalaksha says it is adharma to kill an innocent. So let him be protected somewhere in a safe place and let the king observe him from there. If he develops any negative qualities, then he has to deal with it. Parashara says it is compared to the fear of snake. Here in each section there is an example we have to remember. It's like a fear of snake. The son may think that the king is afraid of his strength and abilities. The king, though the prince, though he is average, he may have a feeling that the king has sent me away because he fears me. So unnecessarily he may develop hatred towards the king and he may attack him one day. So it is, or he may control the father. So it is not a good situation to keep him in under a safe place. So therefore the prince must be kept under the custody of Antapalas in a fort. So more protection for him, and he has to be in a fort. But Pishuna says this is like a fear of the sheep. Fear of the sheep means a sheep may, if the sheep attacks and hits from close quarters, it won't hurt much. But if he goes back and then runs and hits, the impact is more. So the same way, if the prince is nearby and if he is rebellious, it's okay. But if he is far away and then he hits, it will be more risky. So the prince may develop friendship with the Antapala, and together they may conspire against the king. So he has to be kept in the custody of a Samanta who is loyal. Samantas are usually tax-paying, neighboring small leaders. So they will be loyal to the king. So they will take care of the prince. Kaunapadanta says it will be like Vatsasthanam. Like if you keep a calf with somebody, the cow wants the calf. So the person who is holding the calf has more control over the cow. Same way, the Samanta may start taking advantage of the situation and he may start controlling or demand more and more from the king for his country, or the benefits or deduction of tax, whatever. So that becomes a weak point for the king. Then for that, then he says, let the child be brought up by the maternal relatives. Let him be at the mother's side. Vatavyadi says, bringing up the prince in the maternal grandparents' house or in some other place related to mother's side, it will be like Dwajasthanam. That means they may use him and start demanding as well, and they may bring a negative image to the king. So that is also not good. So Vatavyadi says, let him have fun, so that when he is immersed in the worldly pleasures appropriate to his age, he may not be so ambitious to for the throne. Only the eldest can be groomed then. So this is what what Vata Vyadhi says. Remember Vyadhi and Vyasanas. So Vata Vyadhi has this opinion, but Kautilya says it is wrong. A country with weak prince will perish like a wood attacked by termites. Please remember these examples. It will be good if we mention. So the prince should be brought up with good education, irrespective of his um, lineage. Like if he is the first one, whether he is the first, second, or third prince, he all should be equally educated and given the training. That is what Kautilya says. Don't differentiate between the whether he is first or second, depending on the education part. When the queen conceives, appropriate offerings and havanas are to be performed, and after the birth of the child, putra samskara, everything has to be followed for all the princes. This is what Kautilya says. Ambhi's follower says, this is a suggestion by him. He says once they grow up a little bit, the princes have to be examined, tested to see their inclination, whether they are favorable to the king or not. This is done by the Sattris. So two groups of the Sattris should try to influence him. One set should say that say positive about the king, and another negative, and observe which side he is inclined to. But Kautilya refuses with this idea. He says Mahadosha. This is a Mahadosha. Only appropriate positive dharma has to be taught to the young mind. Adharma and anartha should never be taught. He also gives an example of a pot, how a thrown stone to the pot is. This is what Kautilya says. Tasmat dharmyam arthyam cha asya upadeshe na adharmyam anarthyam cha. So, with the help of the Sattris, any vices that the prince has should be removed. Like if he has some negative qualities, that has to be dissuaded. He has to be dissuaded from going there. For example, I didn't write here. For example, if he has interest towards Vaishyas, Kautilya says they have to arrange and make him disgusted about that. So that is what he says. Even after the dharmika upbringing,
what was the example you said he was taking?
He was telling that if he has liking towards women, Kulina.
Before that.
Example of pot. Let me check again about a pot. I don't know if it is a pot and oil or pot and stone, something like that. He says. I have to check and I'll come back. Okay. Like a pot, whatever is done, it is stuck there in their minds. Usually in Kannada, we have an example given, that is hasi mannu. You understand what is hasi mannu? For the wet mannu, if you throw something, it will get stuck. But here he gives one very similar but different. Wait, I'll read.
Okay. You can mold it any way you want. That is what it says, right? The wet clay can be molded whichever way you want.
That is what it says. Is it in Kannada? It says ಹೊಸದಾದ ದ್ರವ್ಯ or ಗಡಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ವಸ್ತುವಿನೊಡನೆ ಲೇಪಿಸಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಅದು ಹೀರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತದೆ. That means lepana, whatever, like tender.
Okay. The porous pot will absorb whatever is kept inside.
Something.
It will just absorb. Yeah.
So technically the idea is the same. It's about comparison about materials to the pot that is not yet baked. The pot that is yet to be baked. So whatever you stick to it, it will absorb.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after the efforts by the Sattris, if the prince does not change his ways, he should be dealt with. He should be imprisoned, even though if he's the only and favorite son. Or if there are many other princes, the one with the wrong ways, he has to be sent to a different location. If the prince with noble qualities, should be appointed as Senapati or Yuvaraja. If he is the eldest, he will be the Yuvaraja. Otherwise, he has to be given enough good responsibility position so that he will be useful and loyal to the king. Then he goes on to explain about the three types of the princes: Buddhiman, Aharya Buddhi and Durbuddhi. Buddhiman is the one who learns well and implements the dharma and artha theories in his life. Aharya Buddhi is one who has learned but is not practicing, but he knows. And Durbuddhi is the one who doesn't care. He refuses to go by the rules of dharma and artha. So he is the most dangerous. If the king has only one son who is of the third category, effort should be made to get putra santana for him. So after the king's term, the grandson will be the Yuvaraja. That is the idea. So the one who is with the vices, with the bad qualities, will miss the chance to be the king. So that is the idea here. If that is not possible, the daughter's son can be made the next Yuvaraja. Or if the king is old and disabled, he should get a santana in his kshetra, that means from maternal relative or from a person of the same kula or a noble king from the neighboring country, like Mahabharata's Niyoga. A disobedient son should never be installed on the throne. The king has to be polite and favorable to the sons. This is Kautilya's mata. If you notice Bharadwaja, Pishuna, all those people have something against the princess who is not heir apparent. So that is not what Kautilya says. If there are many sons, the eldest should be the Yuvaraja. Then next is Avaruddha Vrittam and Avaruddhe Vrittihi. Avaruddha is the one, is the son who is either rebellious or who is sent by the king. He is not with the king right now. Such a prince is called Avaruddha. So how the prince should behave? Sometimes it is possible that king is not fair in his action. So in that case, how should the prince behave? And how should the king behave with the rebellious prince? Both are explained here. In Arthashashtra, Kautilya explains the situation from different perspectives. So this is an example. Both these prakaranas are combined in one adhyaya. Avaruddha Vrittam is a separate prakarana, and Avaruddha Vritti also is a separate prakarana according to the Rajavritti first list. But both are combined in one adhyaya here. This is about the prince who is kept under restraint by the king. Okay, he may be sent away by the king for several reasons. So this talks about the different situations. A prince having noble quality should be appointed as Senadipati or Yuvaraja, but other princes who are able and who have the leadership qualities, they are termed as Vijigishu, who want to win. Such a prince who has been sent or restrained has to faithfully follow the king and his orders. If he is genuinely interested in top post, he has to have patience and he has to try to win over the king. He has to request the king to appoint a Vikshaka Purusha, like a noble, like a mantri or amatya, who has to be given the responsibility of watching him. The prince will engage in noble activities and he should give the profit gain to the king. So he is doing some constructive work for the country under some observation, keen observation, and that observer has to report it to the king. Then king may appreciate his noble work and he may give some responsibility to him, or he may give one part of the kingdom to him, kingdom to this prince to look after. So that is a possibility. Even after these efforts, if the king does not show appreciation, and if the king shows partiality to other Rajakumaras, or the princes of sons of other queens, then the prince will feel that it is unfair to him and he should request permission to go to the forest. If there is any threat to his life or safety, he has to approach a good-natured Samanta and take shelter there. Then from there he has to develop connections and acquire wealth and relationships. So he may get married to the Samanta's daughter or neighboring king's daughter, so that that army is with him. So this is to build army, wealth and popularity to strike back. He has to develop friendships with the tribal people, and he has to try to win over the citizens of his father's state. Mitra Bheda also he can do. He has to win over the mantris, amatyas, or senapatis, or other general public of his own father's state, and get more strength. If he is alone without the support of Samanta, he has to independently work to acquire wealth, either by trading of precious stones or jewels, or work in mines. Here also he has to gather army. Once he has gained sufficient wealth, army and support from various parties, he should approach the king and declare that he is the Yuvaraja. So it is not fair that you alone rule this kingdom. Please give me my share so that I will also take the responsibility. If the king does not agree to this, he has to threaten that whoever is loyal to me, you are welcome to join my team and I'll pay you double the amount as salary. So that if the king, for example, in a situation, if the king is adharmi and the Yuvaraja is dharmika, if the king's purohits and all feel that he will be a good king rather than this old king, they may come to his side and king has to step down. So this is a situation that I can think of. So this is about the prince. Now the role of the king. So there are three types of unfavorable princes: Avaruddha, Tyakta and Atyakta. Avaruddha is the prince who is a heir apparent but was sent by the king. So he has to be called back with the help of spies or his mother if he has to be brought back. Tyakta, the prince with wicked qualities and sent by the king. He may be killed by the spies with the help of weapons or poison. These are Tyaktas. King doesn't want him to be in the vicinity. Atyakta is the prince who is afraid of the king's actions, and before something happens, on his own he has disappeared. He has left on his own, fearing the action from the king. He is Atyakta. He is not yet Tyakta, or he may not be eligible to be Tyakta. So, if he is a good person, he has to be brought back and should be assured of the throne, but say that have patience, after my death you will be given the responsibility. But if there are other able princes, Atyakta also should be searched and he should be punished.
Divya, is it Avaruddha or Aparuddha? I thought the previous page I saw it as Aparuddha. Are they one and the same, or is it different?
Avaruddha. So there is a it's not Aparuddha, Avaruddha, sorry. I'll correct it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Avaruddha. I copied it from that page, so I think that's what is typed there also. It has come here. I'll correct it. Raja Pranidhi. If the king is disciplined, the employees will be disciplined as well. The entire system becomes weak and susceptible to attack by enemies if the king is not disciplined. So Kautilya divides the day and night into 8 equal parts and says what are the duties. Here this This has been asked in the exam. What are the night duties? What has to be morning duties of the king? All these are asked. I have made a table. The yellow part is the day, and the day is divided into 8 parts. Here, he goes on to explain how the time is measured. I think one doll was kept in front of in a place, and depending on the length of the doll's shadow, they decide whether it is afternoon, noon, or so. I did not go into the details. We will just stick to this first part of the day, first half, first part, second part, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So I had see from here to here. The first 4 is the first part, first half of the day. After that, it is aparanna. So morning, in the first part of the morning, he has to attend to Raksha Vidhana and expenditure. Ayavyaya, he has to attend to those. After that, he has to meet the citizens. After meeting the citizens, he'll take a break for snana, bhojana, and adhyayana. After that, he has to look into the collection of taxes, then appointment of adhyakshas. Next, meet mantra parishad, and any letters to be sent, patra vyavahara, has to be done in this part. And after that, he has to meet the charas. After this, it is free and easy for him. He can rest or he can involve in any activity that he wants. And he can also do mantralochana at this slot. Then he has to go and see his sainya, oversee elephants, all the stables he has to visit and see the condition of the elephants, horses, chariots, and he has to meet the soldiers and make sure that they are all alert all the time. Then meet the Senapati. After that, he has to do Sandhyopasana, end of the day. End of the day. Now, night, the duty continues. After that, he has to meet Guda Purusha. Guda Purusha will come at night and meet him and update him about their observations. Then Snana, Bhojana, and Adhyayana. Third part of the night, he has to proceed to the sleeping chamber with Ghosha, with the protocols. The next 2, he has to compulsorily take rest, sleep. Next, wake with Ghosha again, and when he wakes, he has to think about Shastras, and then in his mind, he has to have one overview of the day's work he has to do before he starts anything else. After that, mantra alochana and assign work to Guda Purushas. Guda Purushas have come here. Then after that mantra alochana, he will assign work to them before the daylight. Then he has to get the blessings of acharyas, meet the Vaidya, cook, and Jyotishka, worship the family of a cow. He specifically says a cow, a bull, and a calf. He has to do pradakshina and worship the cow, the family of the cow. And then he has to proceed to the Asthana Mantapa. This is the division of the day. So the entire section, I have combined it in one table. Is it okay?
Yeah, very, very brief.
Okay. So then more information. King should always be accessible for the people concerned with the work. If not, the situation will lead to displeasure of the citizens. Like if the king is not accessible, they may not feel that he thinks about it. He's working for the welfare of them. Okay. Then again, any weakness, enemies will take advantage of the situation. Therefore, he has to personally attend to the work related to Devata, Ashrama, Pashanda, Shrotriya, Pashu Punyasthanaha Bala Vruddha Vyadhita Vyasani Anathanam Strinam Karyani Pashyet. Okay, Karya Gauravad Atyaika Vashenava. So all these he has given in the translation. They have given everything. So Devata, Ashrama, Pashanda, all these people he has to attend to. The important work that has to be done should be done without delay. If it is postponed, it may be difficult or impossible to complete that task. And at the Yagashala, the saints and Vaidyas should be respectfully welcomed by the king along with his Purohita and Acharyas. The protocol he explains, and the business related to the saints should be done with the Trividyas, else he will have to face their anger. Trividyas are the ones who are learned in all the three Vidyas. That means he should not get the curse of any saints. So they will know the protocol. Only with their guidance he has to greet and treat the rishi or sannyasi who come, whoever comes to the kingdom, to the palace. For the king, readiness of action is vratam, duty is yajna. Yeah, these are there are two shlokas here. Rajno hi vratam uttanam yajnaha karyanushasanam. Vratam uttanam, be ready, that is the vratam, and karya anushasanam is the yajna. Dakshina vritti samyam tu, being impartial is dakshina. Then abhisheka is diksha. Diksha tasyabhisechanam, I think. Okay, abhisheka. In the happiness of his subjects lies his happiness. In their welfare, his welfare. Praja sukhe sukham rajnaha prajanam cha hite hitam. This was asked. For Sandarbha, it was asked. He does not consider his personal likings to be good unless it is good for the country and people. Na atma priyam hitam rajnaha prajanam tu priyam hitam. Therefore, the king should always be alert and be engaged in performing his duties. Then his appropriate actions should be on the basis of wealth of the country, artha. If the king becomes lazy, it will lead to the country to the destruction. So this is Raja Praniti. After that comes Nishanta Praniti. The residence of the king and queen is mentioned as Antapuram. So this is about Nishanta Praniti. This is also about the safety, mainly about the safety of the king in his own residence, and how the Antapura has to be built. The location, about the location and construction, it is given. The royal residence complex should be built in a safe and suitable location. Antapura should be surrounded by several rooms with the parapet and ditch provided with the ditch. That place has to be protected by a strong door. And the Mohana Griham should have secret pathways hidden by the walls. It shouldn't be easily visible. It should have secret passages so that only the residents and those who work there know how to reach Mohanagraham. The house can be underground as well. The door should be adorned with divine figurines and carvings. If it is in the underground, it should have convenient stairs hidden from the view. The system can be made collapsible as a protection during emergency from Saha Adhyayis. So, like if there is an emergency, if the Mohana Griha is underground and if everything collapses, they are safe in the underground chamber. This is the idea. And he says how to make the complex safe from the fire. So you have to do 3 times apradakshina with the man-made fire to the Antapura. It will be protected from any fire. Then even the fire created from the lightning will not affect it. Then if the walls are built with the ash from lightning, when the lightning hits, it burns things, and that ash is collected and it is mixed with the soil and water from the hailstones. The hailstones are collected, and when it melts, that water is used to build the wall of the Antapura. Those walls will be protected from the fire. This is what he says. Then poison, I think, was a very major risk factor during that time. So he gives a very lengthy description about how to avoid poison from the snakes and the poisoned by people through food, through other means. Okay, so Jivanti Shweta Mushkaka Pushpa Vandaka Ashwathasya Patra. So these flowers, Jivanti Shweta Mushkaka Pushpa Vandaka Ashwathasya Patra, Ashwatha's leaf. With keeping all these flowers or said leaves, snakes and other poisonous jantus will not come there. Then freely roaming birds and animals will eat the snakes or keep them away. So they are cats, peacocks, mongooses and spotted deer. These will eat the Vishajantus. Then birds like parrots, myna, bhringaraja, birds scream if they smell poison. They are very sensitive to poison. So by observing their behavior, the concerned people will know that this place is poisoned. So this will be an indication. Then heron faints and Jivan Jivakaha will be distressed, and cuckoo dies in the presence of poison. Again, they are used as indication. Chakora bird's eyes will change the color. 1 second, I'll just come back. Please hold on. Sorry. Okay, then he explains about the royal complex compound. So it should have rooms for the women, pregnant ladies, for the doctors and servants behind the main residence. So it should be behind the Antapura, Mohanagriha. Park and water body should be present there, and the residences for the prince and princess are outside these. So they are outside these complexes. And in front of these, he says Alankara Bhumi. And in the English translation, they have given toilet ground. I think Alankara Bhumi may be Snana Griha and those areas. And council ground, the offices of the Yuvaraja and other officials have to be located in front of the park area. Then security troops in charge of the harem should be stationed near all the above places. They have to, every place has to be protected by guards. And now he goes on to explain how the king has to be protected in the queen's chamber, and he gives examples of several kings who were killed in queen's chamber by somebody else or by the queen herself. The king has to be protected in the queen's chamber. King has to meet the queen only after she has been thoroughly checked for purity by a trusted attendant. The king should not interact with any women who are not tested for purity. This is a very clear instruction by Kautilya. So, and he gives the examples. Bhadrasena was killed by his brother hidden in queen's chamber. And Karusham was killed by his son who was hiding in his mother's bed. So the Yuvaraja kills, the prince kills the king. Kashi Raja was killed by his queen, who offered puffed rice. Instead of honey, she adds poison and gives him. Vairantya was killed uh, by his queen with poison painted anklet. She paints poison to the anklet, and because of that, he dies. Savira was killed by the queen with poisoned gem. Some gemstone was poisoned. Then Jaluta was killed by with the help of poisoned mirror. Viduratha was killed by a weapon hidden in her hair. So it's so dangerous, poor thing. Rule and what are the rules for the queens? So king should always be alert and assign proper rules for the queens. The queen should not meet an unauthorized women folk like Munda, Jatila or Kuhaka. If you remember the Gudha Purusha Pranidhi, their Bhikshukis are all they all come in this category. These people may be the Gudha Mahila from the enemy country. So the queen has to be very careful. So even the ladies of the higher society, wait one second, I don't know. Okay, she has to be, she should not meet even the ladies of the higher society. But during pregnancy or illness, they are allowed with permission, with proper permission. I'll correct the sentence, it's a bit confusing. And the Vaishyas too should approach the king with personal cleanliness and with all the tests done, that their anklets are not poisoned. All these things have to be tested before any woman meets the king. 80 men, 50 women in the guise of fathers, relatives or eunuchs will be in charge of maintaining the royal residence. So everyone should live in the place assigned to him or her. They should not shift their places. This is for security. The residents are not allowed to be in touch with the outsiders. All the goods that come to or go out of the royal residence should be checked for security with the mudra, Raja Mudra. So that is also for safety, because if food and all is poisoned on the way, they will know. If it is with the mudra, that means it has been tested by somebody, so it is safe for consumption. So this is about Nishanta Pranidhi. Next comes Atma Rakshitakam. This is here Kautilya says about king's safety during his daily routine. A team of armed women should receive the king when he gets up. Then at the second behind them, coat bearers, coat and headgear, kirita. They should offer the coat and kirita to the king when he wakes up. Behind them, dwarfs and crooked people should be present at the third row. I don't know what reason it is. Maybe he has to, maybe to take drishti. Fourth row will be of ministers.
Divya, not able to hear you. Divya, are you there? Maybe her connection is gone. Yeah, power cut at Divya's place. Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
And Arini, what were you planning to cover today? That Vyakarana will start, is it?
Yeah, that's what I thought I'll do.
It is for any specific question. Divya is back. She's gone. Okay, is it for any specific question, like explaining the sutra, or does it cover everything, including the examples?
No, it is basically exam questions only. The list of Vigraha Vakya and Samasta Pada, which was given in the exams from the previous papers. So I have made a list of that, and following that is the list of asked in the paper. So I covered
that. Back. Joined and left again.
Sorry.
What do we do now? I'll stop the broadcast for this session.
Yeah, maybe you should stop. I'm not sure if she is back.
Can we start?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have come till Atma Rakshitakam in the last session. This is the last adhyaya of Vidya Samuddesha. Atma Rakshitakam is about the safety of the king. I have given points here. So how he has to be received by the protocol, how he has to be received by his guards and other people. So when he gets up, he should be welcomed by women. I'll continue after 9 o'clock. The women should be armed to protect him in case of any danger, early danger, and then as protocol also. Behind them should be coat bearers to offer him the coat and his kiritam headgear. Then dwarfs and crooked people at the third row. Behind them should be ministers, relatives, and doorkeepers. The staff should be loyal to the king, and the staff should be serving the royal family for generations. That means they will feel that that the loyalty will be there. That is what is said. The army of the royal residence should protect the residence of the king. Then the main cook has to test the food several times to ensure that it is not poisoned or it is not unhealthy for the consumption of the king. The food has to be offered to the fire, to the birds by the king, and then consumed. That means king has to, when the cook tests the food several times, after that they serve the food to the king. Before taking a bite, king has to offer the food to the fire, and then he has to from his plate he has to give the food to the birds and watch them, and then when everything is fine, he has to consume. So it is a ritual also, like in before we have the bhojanam, they keep some rice at the side. That also is a ritual, but this is specifically for the safety of the king. Then what are the characteristics of a poisoned food, and what has to be done in case of poisoning? So a food when put to the fire makes it turn blue, or if it flutters, it is poisoned. That is why the king has to put it to the fire first. If the birds die after eating, the food is poisoned. If the vapor of the hot rice turns blue, like it is a bit blue or shade of grey, or if it cools quickly, or if it has unnatural color, too watery or too hard, uncooked, or if it dries quickly, dark in color, or with foam like froth, like, then the food that doesn't then it is poisoned. The food that doesn't have natural taste are all the signs of poisoning. Then if the liquids have blue lines or red in the milk, dark shaded water, or grey curds, or white in the honey are the signs of poison. If the ants and insects die after consuming it, that means it is also poisoned. So how to identify? See, the Antapuram is a closely guarded place, and all the food items that come there are checked for the seal. So that first level of checking is done before they put the seal. So with that level of tight security, if there was an attempt of poisoning inside the Antapuram, that means there is some insider there who is trying to kill the king. So he has to be identified carefully. So the person, how to do it, what are the features of a person who has poisoned the king, because he will feel guilty, he will be alert to see what happens next. So the person responsible for poisoning has dry or parched mouth, because he will know that they have detected. If the king puts the rice to the fire and it turns blue, then immediately king knows that there is poisoning effort. So the person must be watching that, who is in the Antapuram, in the royal residence. So he will start worrying now. So his expressions will show it. He perspires a lot, he sweats a lot, he yawns, shivers, or when asked, he stammers. While speaking, he stammers. If he takes too long to talk, thinks and talks, or skips the topics, then he is a suspect. If he can't perform any activity or stay in a designated place, that means he is fidgety, he doesn't know what to do, and he is not acting normal. That means he is a culprit. He is a suspect. Then what are the remedies for the poisoning also is mentioned. Doctor should be with the king all the time. They should treat the king and administer appropriate medicine. The medicines are not mentioned here, but the king should be always alert, and a team of doctors and poison experts should be with him all the time. Then safety during the bath and dressing up. The servants in charge of dressing up the king should have taken bath, should wear clean clothes. They should get the toiletries, the soap and liquids, which bears the seal, royal seal. Again, that comes from outside to the royal residence should be tested. So after testing, they should put the seal. Then bathing, massage, making the bed, washing, etc. duties are done by dasis. Those responsible should press the royal clothes and jewels to their eyes, and the fragrant lotions and powders, all those should be applied on their chest and arms before offering to the king. That is to make sure that there are no itchy substances put in there, just to trouble, to play prank, or just to trouble the king. There are possibilities of some poisonous or irritants mixed with that. So to avoid that, they have to test it before offering to him. The musicians and artists should not make use of weapons, fire, or chariots in the display of their talent. There will be a place in there may be some entertainment programs within the residence, but those musicians should avoid. For example, there is a drama, so they should not use real weapons there in the display as part of the drama. So even chariots shouldn't come. Whatever they use to portray should be fake. All the instruments, ornaments of elephants and horses should be kept inside. So there should be minimum travel of those instruments. So they should be kept inside, and the elephant should be dressed inside, and they have to go out. That means every day new things should not come from outside to the royal residence. Then before the travel, the king has to, before and during the travel, king has to be careful. King should board the chariot, boat or ship that was, sorry for the spelling mistake, I'll correct it later, that was driven by an experienced person whose family has been serving the royal family again. So he should not board a boat which is tied to another boat and sails depending on the direction of wind. That means he should be in an independent boat which is controlled. That means the boat's person should have the complete control over the boat where king is traveling. Soldiers should be present at the banks, at both the banks. He should travel in the water tested by fishermen, because fishermen will know the places where there are crocodiles and all, or poisonous snakes. So they have to test it before the king travels. Forest should be checked by snake charmers, and if the prince or the king goes for hunting practice, not hunting, shooting, aiming practice to the forest, before he goes, the guards should clear the forest of all the animals other than deer. That means all the dangerous, they should ensure that tigers, lions and all should not, are not there in that region where the king is going to try practice aiming. And even thieves should not be there. It should be a well protected area, and robbers, enemies and wild animals should not be present. That is for the safety of the king. Then he should meet asset sannyasis in the presence of armed bodyguards. The envoy should be met in the presence of ministers. This is because one set of Guda Purushas are dressed like this. So he will not know if the sannyasi visiting is a real one or a fake one. So don't take chances. Always be with the bodyguard. When he is in military dress, and he should have to observe his army before starting. So before starting any military activity, he has to observe his army and not rely on anybody else. He has to personally observe. When he goes out or comes into the capital, both sides of the road should be protected by guards. Same way like rivers, when he is traveling by river also, both sides should be protected. Then during that time, sannyasis and dwarfs, kubjas, should not be present there. Another possibility of gudachara. When the king visits the temple, procession or some ceremony, he should be with the band of 10 men, Dasha Varnika. Then king has to anticipate the charas. Sorry, again, I will correct all this. Charas and ensure his safety. So this is, so much is Vidya Samuddesha. Now about the short notes, we have mentioned almost all the short notes, but they have asked about some Arthashashtrajnas. The only place we get to know about them is in this chapter here, though they have in the whole entire Arthashastra, I am sure there are many places where the references come, but I have gathered from this chapter like this. Bharadwaja, he is also known to be Dronacharya, but Kautilya never says he is Dronacharya in the Arthashastra. In the Amatya Utpatti, he says classmates should be made as Amatyas. So this is his opinion. And then in Mantradhikara, he says the king should think alone, no need of discussion with the ministers. This is his first opinion. First person. If you remember Bhavi, Papi, so in that Bharadwaja's opinion is always the first. Rajaputra Pranidhi, in that he says the princes are like crabs, they have to be killed before they bond with their father. So in each of these, we have to remember the sequence in the way it comes in Arthashastra, and then we have to remember the people. In all these three instances, it comes in the same order. Bharadwaja says his opinion first, then Kautilya mentions about Vishalakshaha, then Parasharaha, Pishunaha. It comes in the same order in all the three places. Then Vishalaksha, he is also known to be Maheshwara. So in Amatyotpatti, he has the opinion that one who has worked in some secret mission with the king should be Amatya. That means they have some secret to share. So the Amatya will not blackmail the king. He will not blackmail. He says they will have some understanding, so that he will be with the king. That is the idea. Sorry about the blackmailing. It is not him. Then mantradhikara, he says king should not think alone, because king has to follow pratyaksha, paroksha and anumeya. He has to be transparent, so he has to ask everybody's opinion. Then in Rajaputra Pranidhi, he says Rajaputra Rakshitam, I think, not Pranidhi. He says killing of innocents is not right, so send them to a safe place with guards. So for Rajaputra, about Rajaputra, Vishalaksha doesn't have any. Yeah, Vishalaksha is the one who says. Bharadwaja says the princes are like crabs. So Parashara says about Amatyas, one who is ready to give up his life for the king should be Amatya, not someone who with whom king was involved in any secret arrangement. Then in Mantradhikara, he says present a general scenario instead of presenting the entire situation to everybody. So just say theoretically ask for their opinion, then gather their inputs from that. Then king has to come to his own conclusion and take a decision. This is what Parashara says. Then Pishuna is Narada. He says about Amatya, he says assign a duty instead of deciding whether he should be a classmate or whether he is ready to give up life, because giving up life is only bhakti, but Amatya has to have the ability to give advice also. So you have to, the king has to assign a duty and observe how he works. If he works to satisfaction and does more than what is required, he should be appointed. And about Mantradhikara, he says he doesn't agree with Parashara. So if you present a general scenario, it doesn't have relevance for everybody. So they will not say, they will not think and give appropriate opinion. So instead, only those who are involved in a specific activity, only those should be consulted with the clear explanation of what is happening and what is expected. About Rajaputras, he says the prince should not be kept with Antapala. So with all the explanations we discussed, so let him be with Amatya, with Samanta. One second, Parashara's opinion, I have to check whether what is his opinion about Rajaputra. I will check and update this and I'll give you a message. I have to see that again, okay? Before, after finalizing, I'll let you know. Please go through this again. Then Kaunapadanta is Bhishma. He says the Amatya should be from the family of Amatyas. And about Rajaputra, he says Samanta is like a Vatsasthana, so they may demand favors from the king. So it should not be the place to keep the prince. So the prince should be with the with his mother's relatives. Then Vatavyadi says about Amatya, he says, if from the family of Amatyas they may control the king, so a new person should be appointed. About Mantradhikara, he says, mother's side, about this also is wrong. It is not Mantradhikara, it is Rajaputra. I will update it. Mother's side will use him like a dhwaja, so let him have fun, so that he will not be a threat to the kingdom. Then Bahudanti Putra says about Amatyas, not about the new, the Amatya need not be new, but he should have qualities. If he is totally new, he will not have experience. And about Rajaputra, he says if he is kept away, okay, see here Bahudanti Putra's opinion about Rajaputra comes as second. So there is a slight change in the order. So just remember this. Bahudanti Putra has the opinion about the Rajaputra as the second opinion, keeping him with the Antapala. And Manu's followers, they have the opinion that the Mantri Parishad should contain 12 Amatyas. Then Brihaspati's followers says it should be 16. Then Shukra's followers say 20. And these three have the opinion about Brihaspati's followers say that Trayi is not considered as Vidya. Brihaspati is Charvaka. Then Aushanasaha, they say Dandaniti is the only Vidya that comes for the short notes also. So these are the things we can take a look just before the exam to remember. Yeah, that's it for Arthashastra from my side.
Okay, Divya.
Yeah, thanks, Divya.
Okay, let me know if I missed anything. Here, while reading it again, I saw some mistakes. I'll correct it today and send.
Okay.
Okay, you please delete all the old ones.